Well, the university has a process in place when we are dealing with inclement weather. So the first thing that happens is we have a risk management group as well as OUPD that sort of monitor what's happening with the weather, keep an eye on what's going on. If we get to a certain point where we're looking at extreme wind chill or a level 3 emergency on the highway, then that sort of moves us into the next point where we are making some decisions. So there are a couple of groups in place. The risk management and OUPD group does the initial monitoring. Then there's a snow advisory group that determines what to do with the information that OUPD and risk management provides. And then there's a CERT plus snow group, which is an emergency group plus a few extra people that determine how the messaging is going to take place and who it goes to. So that's basically the system as it stands right now. You know, every situation is going to be slightly different, and that's why we have advisory groups in place to make sure that the set of circumstances that we're dealing with, that those circumstances are safe for our students and for our faculty. So we do have that in place, sort of a advisory group that will help to determine the set of circumstances that the weather is throwing our way and whether or not those circumstances make for a safe campus environment. The university doesn't really close very often. It's actually pretty rare. I mean, the students who go to school here, if you have a choice whether or not you're going to go to class. So if you personally have a very bad situation, then that's something that you need to work out with the university and with your professors. We really don't close very often. So in the last couple of years, we've seen just 2 or 3 closures. Last year was specifically interesting because we never close more than, very, very, very rarely. Sometimes years go by that there are no closures. So in this last year, I'm sure we had at least 2 closures, and both of them, if I recall correctly, were tied to extremely low wind chill factors. So I think that it's really the exception to the rule rather than the rule that we have closures on campus, because we like to keep things moving here. We like to keep business operational, and we certainly care about the education of our students, and so we don't want to take opportunity away for that to continue. So as long as we have a relatively safe working condition on campus for faculty and staff and a safe condition for students to attend classes, we try to do everything in our power to keep everything operational here. And when we do have a closure or canceled classes, there's a lot of work that goes into making that happen and notifying everyone. And so we want to make sure that when we close or cancel or do something like that, that we're not contributing to a safety problem. Because if we were to close, for example, yesterday in the middle of the day, we would have been putting faculty and staff on the roads to go home, and same with students and commuters. So there are a lot of factors that we have to weigh when it comes to determining the best course of action when we have extremely cold or snow-filled days. But we do take it very seriously. We do have a lot of conference calls and meetings and trying to determine exactly what's what, and those communications start as soon as we know that there's some sort of storm on the horizon. So I think that moving forward, we'll continue to do what we've been doing, which is to keep this process in place. We're double checking what's happening, we're monitoring what's happening, and then moving through that process to the snow advisory group and then the CERT plus snow group so that we can manage those communications in and out. Only the president or designee has the authority to declare an emergency and close the university at the main campus. Regional campuses and regional teaching sites as well, but the authority also for those lies with the deans on the regional campuses. But the final say is either the president or a designee for the president. The CERT plus snow group would be the group that determines how the communications go forward. So there would be a conference call or a meeting, depending on the time of day and where we all are. We would determine how to get that information out. It would go up on the alert page, which is on every page, the front door of ohio.edu. It would go out social media. It would go out through a press release to the area press. We also have a phone tree, so we have to call the press all over the state of Ohio, and some of that goes through press releases, but we also have a phone tree so that we call the TV stations and radio stations so we get that information going on television. there are other internal channels and email threads that go to deans and faculty members. So it's really a sort of a grassroots effort at that point. Once we learn that yes, we are going to cancel or close, then a group of us sort of filter out and make sure that all of those notifications are made.